Spoilers for Miss Marvel episode 3. How's it going, G-Man? You all right?
Yep, all good, bro. All good. Let's go through this
Yeah.
episode. Episodes caused a lot of controversy out there, and even for us, a little disagreements, I guess. But let's talk about it, man. I mean, I'm still loving the show, still loving it. And
Yeah, same. I'm glad that we get this show, but controversy is gonna come anyway. You know what I mean? Everything's represented in different ways, and we'll jump into it a bit later on. But yeah, let's start from the beginning, bro.
All right. Well, the episode's called Destin. It's the intro music starts off with a more serious, dramatic tone compared to the previous episodes, and I believe because in this episode we're gonna. Oh, by the way, spoiler alerts, right? And
Spoilers.
This is just our thoughts and our breakdowns from our perspective, what we've taken away from a geeky perspective, and also from our own cultural perspective. Because
that's right.
Relatable. Up on that. But yeah, like I said, I think the intro starts off with a bit more of a dramatic, serious music. Because I believe in this episode we find out who the big bads are of this season of this show.
That's right.
I think it kind of gives us that. The British. So it starts off with the British occupied in 1942. Right. It's the first time we meet her great grandmother Aisha.
Yeah.
And then this is the first time we meet the group of Jinns, which has what caused a bit of controversy and whatnot, and we'll talk about that later.
That's right.
They're looking for the bangles, right, which Kamala has. They keep mentioning 2 bangles, but we've only seen 1 so far.
That's right.
I wonder what happens when she gets 2. Does she get full powers? Does it allow her to go into interdimensional travel, which is what the Jinns ultimately are trying to get to do, which we'll talk about later. But if you notice that the hand that they take the bangle off is a blue hand.
That's right.
I wonder what that is. Like maybe it's Kree or something, just because Inhumans connected to the Krees and whatnot. But yeah, blue hand's interesting.
Yeah, a bit. I thought it was an alien, maybe, or I don't know. Yeah.
I'm trying to think what other blue people have we seen in the MCU so far? Any powerful blue people? Anyway, that was interesting.
Yeah.
All right, and then when they zoom out, when the little things happen, you see the 10 rings on the floor, which gives it a connection to Shang-Chi and the 10 rings, which is freaking awesome.
That's right. Yeah, that was really good. Really good.
So the angle we learned in this episode can help with interdimensional travel, right? Which is what these Jinns want to do. They want to go back to their dimension. I wonder if the 10 rings are also capable of doing that as well. And the end of Shang-Chi, it was giving off that beacon signal. Maybe it was a beacon signal from some different dimension. So that's interesting. We're going to learn more about that, which is pretty awesome. I love the way Marvel kind of just
keep it
awesome.
That's right.
Is my internet basic again? I say it's internet connection unstable.
It is breaking up every 2 minutes.
No good. All right. They mentioned. Can you still hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. I think what you should do, bro, I think to make this a bit easy, switch your camera off and just use your voice.
All right. Okay, let me know if that's better.
Yeah, that's better. And it's going to show my face. But guys, you can see my lovely face. But it'll be smoother for Gilman's transition. So go for it, bro.
I'll be back in Singapore next week with my better internet. Like I said, I have much better connection with you 10,000 miles away than I do freaking 20 minutes away from you, which is crazy. Anyway, let me know if I cut off.
No, you're fine now. It's much better.
All right, they speak about that the British might have taken the second one, the second bangle, right? Because British were occupying at that time and stealing everything at that time in India. So it reminded me of Black Panther. Remember when Killmonger was in the museum and they had all the vibranium metals and whatnot there, and armor and everything from Africa. So I feel like they might have, maybe that's a possibility that the British Museum got some stuff too because they stole it, maybe. Or maybe Aisha's great grandmother had it too.
Okay.
From another, okay, so this is where the Jinns are talking to Miss Marvel. Any backgrounds? Are you doing the background thing?
Yeah. Go on, you continue. I'm just trying to make it a bit more immersive so people can watch it.
Okay. This is where this opening scene is where the Jinns are talking to Miss Marvel and just telling her where she came from, where they came from, and all that sort of stuff. And this is a part that caused a little bit of controversy as well. My thing is her first. The Jinns are talking to her all nicely and they're being very polite. why didn't they just snatch the bracelet from her there and then? Like,
They should have.
I mean,
They should.
why wait till later? I don't know. And maybe they're trying to do a manipulative move of like, oh, let's be nice to her and she'll just do it for us. But I feel like, yeah, if you wanted it, she'll snatch it from her then. But anyway, that was just my thoughts on that. They just want to go home, right? I think Aisha, the great grandmother, might have, because they've never seen her again after she ran away. I think
That's right.
she might have discovered that it'll be dangerous to sending them home, and it'll be in danger for the human race or whatever, or Earth, which is why she never reconnected with them again and never wanted to go home, because I think she realized it was dangerous. So that's probably why her great grandmother disappeared. That's what I think anyway. All right. The presence of Noon means light. She feels a greater power comes with. I think we'll talk about the controversy in a second. I think with Miss Marvel, where you're starting to feel that whole great power comes great responsibilities. I think she's feeling that, because she keeps in this episode, we talk about it in later on, she keeps asking like, how do I feel like these bangles are just bringing nothing but problems for me and my community and stuff like that. So
yeah, that's right.
Feeling that responsibility. Okay, this is when they start talking about where they're from, right? The Noon dimension, what do they call them again? Clandestines.
Yeah, clandestines, yeah.
Anabis, Majuns, unseen jinn, right? So season jinn, right? So this is where things get a bit controversial. And I think from, like, you look from the Islamic religion, and like I say, from an Islamic perspective, yes, some of the things in the show are not going to be halal, right? Yeah. For example, her liking a boy and all that sort of stuff, which actually, if you like someone and whatnot, I don't think that's haram. It's your action. It depends on the actions that you take, which could possibly make it haram, right?
Yeah.
But if you like someone or you have certain thoughts, that doesn't automatically make it haram. That's what I think. It's the action, if you action on these thoughts, and the way you action on them is what makes them haram and whatnot. So anyway, like I say, some things, like, they're always going to be haram, and it's up to us as parents and whatnot to educate our children on what's right and wrong and taking the right path, blah, blah, blah. But you can't, like I say, certain things, right? But this is where things get a little bit iffy, because jinns is haram, right? Islam specifically in the Quran condemns the practicing of worshipping jinn, right?
Yeah, that's right. So this is where, like, because there are good jinns and there's bad jinns. I'm not going to compare them to angels. But, some of the jinns are Muslim. They pray with us. They hang around with us. But then people that do stuff like magic and make a deal with jinn to progress somewhere in life, then that's where we don't want to get to. You don't want to be praying or asking for the jinn for something. Exactly. We should be asking, the Almighty. And I think that's where this has got I don't know. I don't think Marvel are looking to head down this route to offend people. I feel like it's a bit of a ruse, like a mask behind something else, because now they're trying to say that Miss Marvel is a jinn. And if she's a jinn, then people are asking a jinn to save them. It doesn't make sense. Islamically, it doesn't fall into place.
Exactly, yeah. And that's where I think they've gone. Maybe, look, we've got 3 more episodes. Maybe they'll tell us more and whatnot. And maybe they'll take us, like, but yeah, you're right. We only worship one Allah, and we only ask from anything from Allah, not from a jinn. So if the first Muslim superhero in the MCU is a jinn, then it's like, you don't really represent us then as an Islamic.
No, you don't. And I think that's where I feel like that's where they hopefully it's not the way they're heading, bro. Hopefully it changes, because I am enjoying the show, but it gets muddy between the lines of, reason why we watch fantasy is to get away from real life world stuff. Now you're mixing reality and religion and everything into a fantasy story. That's where it gets a bit muddy and complicated. And I just personally feel like, yes, you could show the Islamic parts of what we do, but remember that's got nothing to do with culture. Because you have your religion, you have your culture, and then you have this fantasy world. And then that's where I don't want it to get all muddled up in, because, music at a wedding is still haram. Dancing is still haram at a wedding. Those little things that I could pick out on, but culturally, that's something that happens. So I want to offend anybody on that side of things because everybody does things their own way. But when it comes to Islam, it's not something that we do or something we would go with. So that's where it gets a bit complicated. Even with the Nur dimension, you're talking about the divine light here. You're talking about Allah's light here, and they turned it into a dimension, and that is quite patronizing and disrespectful to what you compare the name, because the Nur is light, which would have been amazing to say that the part of the power was that, but then it's like, no, you're giving godlike powers to a character, which is not.
Yeah.
So that's where I feel like, calling the Nur dimension and the Nur power, a power, it's not in Islam, it's not that, it's the divine light from Allah. So yeah, it's a tough one, man.
It is a tough one. I mean, actually, with the wedding and all that sort of stuff, I could kind of let go. I'm like, yeah, that's cultural things, let it be. But when you're talking about these things, I'm just kind of like, man, that is like, you can't say those sort of things and try and change different elements of Islam for the show or whatnot. I wish she was just a human being, Muslim, and believed in Islam and Allah, and then she got these powers through the bank or whatever, you know what I mean? But the fact that they involve in all of that stuff is where, listen, I'm still going to watch the show and I'm kind of hoping it goes in a different direction. I'm not going to say I'm going to boycott it, but it's where I'm like, that's where you lose a little bit of the representation. And I think maybe you drop a lot of your Muslim audience that you're trying to get in because they might just feel like, no, you didn't represent us right. It's a bit of a shame because I would always think Marvel would do their proper research and sort of things. I wonder if there's a different, that I'm not familiar with, like a different sect of Islam that might believe all this sort of stuff. That I'm not familiar with, and the directors, because I don't know if the directors are, there's different sects, unfortunately. I mean, I still believe we're all Muslim, but, different sects have different belief. I wonder if
so it depends. Listen, this is the hard part of putting real life stuff into fantasy and trying to represent that on the screen, because in the comic books, they do it to a well-respected way where, her being an inhuman and the mist that it doesn't have nothing to do with religion or different dimensions. You could cut that part out, which is great. You've got a great solid story where she's an inhuman at heart. Yeah, that's in her DNA. So her powers are from that. It's not got nothing to do with jinns and reality and religion.
Exactly.
So that's where they separate it in the books. But on the TV show, listen, it's a big debate. It could go really strong. Like myself, I didn't agree with it at first after watching that first episode, after watching that episode 3. But we have to wait and see what they do. But think about it, man, controversy always kicks up a fuss, so more people will go to see it. You know what I mean? People would want to understand more. But listen, it's got some great reception. People are really enjoying it. So I'm not gonna take that away.
I'm definitely enjoying it, and I'm still gonna watch it. But I just feel like when you start trying to change the religion or use the religion in a way that it shouldn't be, then I'm just like, man, you kind of messed up with that. Please don't do that. You know what I mean? Like, but yeah, no, I mean, let's see, man. Let's see how they take it. I do kind of wish they just stuck to the comic book ways, because at least it didn't have to get involved the religion and changing things and jinns and all that sort of stuff. I wish it didn't have to. But hey, listen, maybe we'll find out later that she's not a jinn, and that would be awesome, because that way, that's the only controversy, really.
No, exactly.
Like if she's going to be our superhero, we just don't want her to be a jinn. We just want her to be a human being, Muslim, and that's it. So if we find that out later, then we could be like, cool. Like, at least the one that we are kind of saying that's our hero is not the jinn, if that makes sense.
Yeah, exactly that. Exactly that.
Let's see what happens with it. All right, well, that's the controversy. Let's move on. Cool. Bruno, she asked Bruno for help. He keeps talking about her son. What do you call it? What's his name?
Cameron.
Cameron as got not good looking son. He keeps reminding me of Star-Lord and Thor when he kept on saying, not so good looking dude or whatnot. It's got that sort of element to it. Bruno references a paper read by Eric Solvik about the Noon Dimension. So Solvik is all about that interdimensional travel.
That's right.
Thor, as you know. The DODC, they go into the mosque with disrespect, shoes on the mat. They highlighted that as well. If you notice that the camera feet and showed that they're showing shoes on the mat, which is disrespect. Nakia is the mosque board, so she got into the board member.
Yeah.
She touches on the fact that she was spotted in a mosque feeling responsible. Okay, so I think that scene kind of just shows, and Nakia talks about this a little bit. It's like, have you come here in the mosque because are you concerned about that she's a kid that's got powers or a Muslim kid that's got powers? And also just kind of touching on the fact that you've kind of come into the mosque with disrespect. Are you unhappy that there's a Muslim like power person with the powers out there? Are you thinking, we've already got targets on our backs, why would we want more targets on our backs?
That's right. That's right.
And I think with Miss Marvel, Kamala, she's feeling it more, that responsibility she's having on her community with the DODC going into the mosque and all that sort of stuff.
Exactly.
So that's another good question. Same like with Captain America and the Winter Soldier with Sam being Cap. Can really the government or the people accept a Black Captain America? And this is the same sort of question with some of these government agents. Can they accept a Muslim superhero? Considering all the controversy with Muslims that we go through. So I'm glad they're touching on that, but I'm hope they don't go too much into that because I don't want to get too much into, Muslims and terrorists and all that sort of, you know what I mean? But I'm glad they're touching on these sort of things.
Yeah, same here, bro. I feel like it's an important part that these things need to be heard. Like, this is the stuff that we go through on a daily basis. That's the reality that they bring to this. And I sometimes feel like, yes, it works, and sometimes can backfire because people feel like, they're singled out. But I genuinely think like it's something that needs to be spoken about more often.
Yeah, definitely. In these ways. All right, cool. So moving on from the mosque scene. Mother not make it. Oh, they're talking about Kamala's grandma not making it. And I think she knows, like, not making it to the Mendi and the wedding. I feel like and we'll find out at the end of the episode where her grandmother does phone her and say, you need to come to, what was it, Kashmir? Not Kashmir, it was Karachi.
That's right, yeah.
I think she didn't come to the wedding because she knows something's going on, basically. Then it goes on to I don't know, when they hid his shoes, I don't know if that's a cultural thing.
That's a cultural thing that they do, yeah. I know Bengalis, in the Bengali culture, they kind of brought that on as well. But in Pakistan, they do that. That's a tradition that they do.
So
and even the song playing in the background, it represented that as well.
Okay, so it's a little bit of a prank in the wedding. Okay, so when she's outside, she speaks to the imam, right? Because obviously she's feeling guilty about what's going on. She's feeling responsible, and she asks the imam, like, how does this person show, to be good, right? And the imam responds saying, good is not a thing you are, but a thing you do. And that's also a quote from the game, and I wonder if that's a quote from the comics as well.
It's from the comics as well, bro.
Yeah, okay, it's from the comics. So that's like the great responsibility, with great powers comes great responsibility line for
that's right.
Kamala. So it's pretty awesome that they threw that in there. And the imam, who is an Islamic community leader, gave her that advice. Bruno makes her a mask. That mask looks pretty cool.
Very cool. Very cool.
So that's pretty cool. Bruno makes her that mask. Obviously, he's very supportive of her, and obviously, he's got a crush on her too. As it seems. Yeah. Kamala's dad helps Bruno read out the Urdu script that he's reading about the jinn.
That's right.
Which talks about the prophecy that the jinn was talking about with Kamala, but it mentions it could have some catastrophic explosions or issues or whatever. What else is going on? It's a pre-Islamic folklore of jinn demon. We spoke about that. We're not going to go back into that controversy. Kamala expresses the pain she's going through after falling off the. Yeah, she keeps rubbing her knee. So I think that's something that we, when we see these superheroes get busted and whatnot, most of them have got superpowers, so they just kind of brush it off and whatnot. But she's still a little girl, man. She's just a normal girl. So when
exactly.
So you still see that she's struggling with her knee pain. Her mum comes and helps her later on with the knee. To kind of support her and whatnot. So at least we're seeing that, oh, okay, she became a superhero, which means she could take a beating. Like, no,
that's right, yeah, exactly.
So I think that's pretty cool that they're adding that in there. The base energy of the sun to travel interdimensional. Kamala wants to help them go home, trying to do the right thing. So yeah, Bruno mentions that you need the base sort of energy of the sun. We keep hearing that, right, from from Spider-Man, Dr. Octavius having the power of the sun in your hand, reactor to the power of the sun. So there's always
That's right.
the power of the sun to help him go back. Bruno also mentions to her that it could cause an issue, could cause some explosions and whatnot. But she just wants to do the right thing. She uses Carol's Danvers again and to motivate her to say, look, Carol will do the right thing. Whereas Bruno kind of says, well, Carol will be reckless if she did the right thing, like the research.
Yeah.
And then he mentions that maybe it's a good thing that you're not Carol, right? Saying that you are who you are, and you've reached out to Bruno for help, and Bruno's giving you this advice. So if Carol Danvers would have made a decision without doing the research, maybe it's not the smartest thing. And you're an individual who has gone out to do the research with Bruno. So he's just I think he's more kind of encouraging her that you are a brown girl from Jersey, you're Kamala, you're the hero here, not Carol Danvers, which I feel like Bruno's trying to encourage her with. What else? The mum finding home at the mosque when she moved to America. Oh, the mum gives her a little emotional speech saying when she got to America, just trying to find her place in America and finding home at the mosque where she met other Muslims and a community there, basically. So just touching on that. Amir and Taisha's wedding. So we spoke about this a little bit. Amir, before the wedding, Amir's kind of like thinking about the responsibilities of marriage. The father gives some wise words, saying a man picks to live a life in fear or love. Kind of reminds me of Bronx Tales, like, would you rather be loved or feared?
That's right.
Same quote. But if you pick love, in Bronx Tales, obviously Sonny picks fear because of the industry that he's in. You see what happens to Sonny at the end of that movie, right? Whereas in this, it's a different path. The father says that if you pick love, that's family, that's religion, that's faith. And when you have family, you will never be alone. So Fast and Furious reference there. Maybe not.
That's right.
Fast and Furious. Any Fast and Furious there.
That's right.
Tasha's parents don't look Islamic, so maybe she's a revert. Just want to kind of touch on that point. She could be a revert.
Yeah, that's right.
When they do the takbir, they say Allah. When they do the wedding ceremony, they say takbir, Allahu Akbar, just so everyone knows that means God is great. So when it's interesting that it's great that they put that there so people know it means God is great and it's used for what God is great, not when terrorists use it and people, because people always want to say that shit. They want to align those words with terrorists and shit. So
That's right.
Having a better platform in the area. Kamran showing a sense of care for Kamala and Eva, maybe because he was born. Kamran, he's the one who made the phone call to Kamala and warned her about the family. He's very more concerned about doing this. He had that conversation with his mum saying, if you knew that taking us home was going to cause issues and possible, problems to the earth, why would you do that? I believe it's because he was born in Earth. It's always these Earthlings have these Earth human elements, which is why they don't want to destroy Earth. So I feel like Kamran's against it just because he was born here and he has to connect with humans. Whereas his family, the jinns, they don't give a shit. They just want to go home, right? So the wedding, you touch on it, it's like a Bollywood scene, right? It's literally, they had to fit that in there. They had to get a little Bollywood scene in there with the dancing and the music and the colors and the choreography and all that sort of stuff. So kind of cool though. Listen, it's not a religious wedding, but different cultures have different weddings. So end of the day, the religious part, they showed that in the mosque. That's really the nikah, and that's it, of an Islamic wedding. The celebrations is always a cultural thing, which is in this case, they showed, I guess it's the Pakistani way, I don't really know. But it's like it was like a Bollywood scene anyway.
No, it was really good. I mean, it's some cultures that continue to do that, and they celebrate it in different ways. So everybody celebrates in different ways. So no, it was a great scene to see, see the community on like TikTok and other channels really enjoying what they're seeing. It is absolutely amazing to see. So really happy to see that the culture is getting pushed out there, bro, and people seeing a different light. Like I've got some really good messages from people on TikTok saying that, we love seeing it from a different point of view and from a person of your culture and race being represented.
Yeah, that's awesome. And even the main actress, her name, what's her name again? I forgot her name, man. So basic.
Amani.
Yeah, she was saying people on the set kept on started saying Inshallah and Bismillah. So You know what I mean? It's
Bro,
like
continue, bro. I'm bursting for a piss. I'll be right back. You continue. I'm losing. Go on, continue.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's interesting, and it's a great way to just kind of share our community, our religion. Saying these things, you just transfer them to English. You know what I mean? Inshallah, in God's will. Like that's all you're saying. If you want something to happen, you could just say Inshallah, just in God's will. And if you don't believe in God, it's just kind of like, well, I hope it happens, type of thing. So it's not just because it's Islam and the media and have portrayed us in a certain way. It's great that we're kind of getting out there and in this show is kind of being represented in a more positive light. Even though we discuss things about the jinn or whatnot and not agreeing on that side, end of the day, if you just take it away, at least we're being positive. We're being shown in the positive light from a hero perspective. So that's the main thing. Anyway, moving on. At the wedding, I noticed Tasha's Tasha's little brother, I believe, he's wearing the Hulk outfit that her father put on in the episode 1. So he wore that to the wedding.
Yeah.
I was just saying Tasha's brother wore the Hulk outfit her dad wore.
Oh yeah, that was wicked, bro. To see that come back again and then the way he wore it at the wedding was wicked.
That was awesome, yeah. Brown Jovi gave me jokes, and they were talking about we do concerts at Eid and Diwali and Bar Mitzvah and whatnot. So just kind of that was kind of hilarious. Bruno loses his chance to dance with Kamran because of Kamran. I think he wanted that dance and Kamran making rules again, but I think now he realizes Kamran's here to help. Bon Jovi, they played the tune "Living on a Prayer" while all the fight scenes happen and whatnot. I do think some of the fight choreography looked good.
Yeah.
In some ways, I'm kind of like, well, there's 6 of you lot, and you can't just beat up this little girl. But maybe it's the bangles, because this little girl, I mean, she don't know nothing about fighting or whatnot, but she's just using the bangles, and the bangles kind of are protecting her, putting a protective force on her, really. So it's the bangles that's really helping her. Really, I think she's still got a long way to go to be able to not just use her powers and believe in herself and all that sort of stuff, but just be like, there comes training with these things, right? I think she's a lot of training, basically. So that fight scene for me a little bit, as dumb as this sounds, because I'm watching a superhero show, a little bit unrealistic because she's protecting herself against 6 highly skilled jinns, if I want to use what they're saying, with weapons. But I'm putting it on the bangles. The bangles is what saved her, basically. She fights back. Okay, so when Bruno gets knocked out, she gets a bit of inspiration and she starts fighting back. So she starts attacking rather than just shielding. And then you see her original powers from the comics where her body gets like kind of like elastic or whatnot. So you see that when when Bruno gets hurt and she just punches everyone, which is
right.
I wonder, if she's gonna, because she could get big as well, right? So I wonder if she will get big in a cosmic form as well at the end of the episode or the end of the season as well. But I think they're gonna touch in on her powers more as she gets motivated and whatnot. What else? Kamran goes against his family and he decides to fight, so that at least you get to see that Kamran is on her side, a good guy. The grandma Aisha betrayed. Oh, I feel like I can't remember the main bad guy, the lady, her name. I can't remember her name, but she goes to Miss Marvel. Why would I protect someone that went against betrayed us? I believe Aisha, her great grandmother, again, like I said, betrayed them because she knew taking them back home is going to cause issues on Earth. So she decided not to do it, and that's why she split from them, and that's probably why she went missing and whatnot, just to get away from the jinns and avoid that. So that's what I think, and we'll find out more about that later. Then they both see the train to Karachi, and there's a little voice in the background. I couldn't make out what the voice says, but maybe it says come to Karachi or something. I don't know. That
was Nani saying go to Pakistan.
Yeah. So the guns that the agents use, the agents, DOD buses in the FBI, whatever, the guns that use sound like the Iron Man pulse reactors, or it could be the alien tech that they stole from in a Spider-Man first Homecoming. So it could be that alien tech. What they call those aliens called? In the first Avengers movie, do you remember what they're called?
Damage control.
Yeah, damage control, but the actual aliens that the Avengers were fighting.
Was the Kree? It wasn't Kree. The
T'Chari.
T'Challa, yeah.
something like that. Anyway, but anyway, the weapons they were using sounded like that, so they're not just normal weapons. They were like alien tech or maybe some arc reactor, Tony Stark tech. Maybe the alien. Okay, Nakia finds out about Kamala. And she feels a little bit betrayed. Kamala had obviously loads of opportunities to tell her, and I think Kamala did want to tell her so many times, but she didn't, and she finally finds out at the end. Grandma calls to say come to Karachi, and she knows what's going on because she saw the train from her side. So obviously the grandma's connected to the bracelets, and I feel like her mother's connected to the bracelets too as well, but she's ashamed of it.
She's ashamed of it. That's right. Yeah, that's what I was thinking as well.
Yeah, so that's what I feel like. That's what it's. So they're all connected. All the females are connected in that world, but the mother doesn't want to talk about it because you know, aunties gossip and all that sort of stuff. Maybe it's a cultural thing, right? Maybe she doesn't want to be a part of the gossip. Maybe she's trying to protect Kamala. There's so many things, but I think the grandmother knows. I think the mother knows because she said, "Bring your mother." So yeah, I mean, look, interesting where they're taking this. I'm super excited on where they're taking it. I hope they do fix up on the jinn part, just so from an Islamic perspective, you don't lose the audience. You don't feel like you've done us a what's it, like a dishonor? Is it a dishonor or a disservice?
Disservice, yeah.
You're representing us, which is a great thing. I mean, I was saying earlier, at least if there's one positive you're going to take away from the whole thing, at least we're seeing an Islamic superhero being portrayed in a positive, right?
That's right, exactly.
I know, yes, there's issues and whatnot, and I hope they're fixing them. But if you're going to just take away the one positive, at least, all right, it's an Islamic superhero. We'll take that. That's what I'll end up taking at the end of the day. And I can always say, look, don't agree with what you did there, but at least she's Islamic, and at least she'll be a part of the Avengers, and that's it. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
So yeah, so that's pretty awesome. But end of the day, man, that was it, man. I mean, that was the end of the show. I'm still enjoying it. Looking forward to where they're taking it. See what other connections they have with the Ten Rings. I still believe, be it Carol Danvers or Monica Rambeau, will show up at the end, which will get her excited. It would be better if it was Carol Danvers, just because she's just so excited and in love with Carol Danvers and so geeked out about her.
That's right.
See, when the Avengers first came out, I always was like, I can't wait till they meet each other because I want to see their interaction.
Their reactions, yeah, that's right, yeah.
Her excitement to see Carol Danvers in the flesh, because she would just geek the hell out.
And I think it will happen. That's the only one I can think of as a cameo in this one would be that, bro.
That would be awesome. So yeah, man. I mean, that was it, man. I mean, look, the controversy is what we spoke about. Hopefully, like I say, people don't try to cancel it or none of that shit. Let's see what happens.
No, I mean, inshallah, listen, man. Well, here's me saying that. Hopefully, some good comes out of this and they change it. Hopefully, Marvel didn't want to do that to disrespect a religion, and it's so tough. You know how tough the Islamic religion is. Anybody does or says anything or depicts people from Islam, that causes an uproar, bro. That's how strong we are about, having our Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam depicted in an image or anything like that. People will run you down for that, man. That's one thing we stand up for, was that, listen, you could do all of these things in this part of the world, but that's a deeper connection. That's, the Islamic religion is a whole different thing, bro. So hopefully they didn't do that to disrespect people, and we wouldn't want that as well. I mean, I believe, in looking after all people around us and not judging in that process. But with something like that, it gets really it gets really personal and touchy, and that's why I said it's quite muddy. That part of the episode was really hard.
Yeah, no, I agree. And look, if Disney's done it, and I don't want to think that they've done it to disrespect. Maybe it's misknowledge, maybe it's miscommunication, maybe there's something in there. Do you know what I mean? Like maybe, but I'm sure someone would have picked it out if they said, "Oh, no, this is wrong." I don't know, but like I say, with other parts of the world, like you got to respect, like. Maybe, like as I always say, like you don't have to believe in what other people believe in, just respect them as individuals or whatnot.
Exactly.
So I mean, let's see where they take it, man. I mean, they send with loads of stuff that Disney are doing, like they're very, very, very woke and whatnot, and that's good for them. They have the right to do that, and they should do that to try and influence the community of the US and all that sort of stuff in the Western world. But you can't be upset if another side of the world are like, no, we're not going to show this, or we're not going to take this on board, right? Because that's just the way they feel, and they feel have that harder connection towards a religion more than Disney. You know what I'm trying to say?
Yeah, exactly.
Also, as you were saying that, having our prophet on an image and the Muslims standing up, I think that's a great thing, because with all respect, man, you see Hollywood and you see everyone kind of like making jokes out of the Christian religion and whatnot. And that's because they've allowed it to happen. Not saying violence is the way. You should never do violence and whatnot to protect the religion. Even though in history they all done it, all religions done that in the past. But what I'm saying is like protesting and saying, no, look, we're not going to accept you to make a picture of the prophet or kind of put our religion in the wrong ways and whatnot. We should stand up, because we can't allow them to falsify our religion in any sort of way. So we as Muslims, we should definitely stand up to how the religion is depicted. I can't even speak, man. So
it's all right, bro. It's all right. It's all right.
Yeah, portrayed in the Western world, or even in the world in general. We can't allow Hollywood to take over that in that sense. Like, if they're going to do it with the right research. But again, if you can take anything away, and if you're just a non-Muslim, for example, that's watching the show and you don't know nothing about Islam except what you've seen on the news, and you just think we're terrorists, at least one thing you could take away from the show is that, well, at least these Muslims look like they do what we do, and they drive cars and they have school issues, and she's a superhero. So if there's anything you could take away for someone, you could just be like, all right, at least it's a Muslim superhero. In regards to the details of Islam, real Muslims are gonna be against that and probably won't agree with that. But just a general person's not gonna know the details. But it could influence them in the wrong way. That's the only thing. But
yeah, no, exactly. It's a tough one. I had a couple of messages on my Instagram regarding it, how excited I was, and sharing Idris's story and stuff like that. And there was a couple of guys that messaged me, said, it's not Muslim, bro. It's not Muslim. It's amazing, but it's not Muslim. I'm like, then, bro, why are you messaging me for, man? Please. It's none of my business. I'm enjoying it, man. Go away. You know what I mean? Everybody that's the thing about the internet. And shout out to the guys on TikTok, because the immense response that we got, and we grew massively in the past in a week. But the amazing positive messages that we're getting from this, and this is people from all around the world, all cultures. There's one creator on there. He's from Mexico. He did a really funny post. Like, he stitched one of my videos, and he was like, "Kibbs, I'm glad you guys got brown people to represent you, but what they did to America Chavez was deep," because he found it funny. He didn't take it offensively. He found it funny, but it was like, we got to get a superhero that crosses borders, bro, which is the multiverse powers. I was like, oh my God. I was like, oh, dude, sorry. But listen, everybody can come with a really good sense of humor and understanding. And a lot of people have done that. You've got your haters, you're going to have haters. But the people that I'm going to shout out to are the people that really shine, are the people that have given me really amazing messages on TikTok. And moving forward, I think that's a platform we use we are using it for the podcast, but sharing our thoughts as well. So like, we'll be doing that much more. So yeah, I think that's it, G, man. We've got less than a minute, brother.
I see that, man. Cool. Awesome, bro. Good to catch up. We will break down episode 4 next week. We've got a podcast and all that stuff coming out. Yeah, awesome, bro.
All right, bro. One love, man. Take care, man. And have a safe trip, bro. I'll give you a call before you head out.
Definitely. We'll catch up later, bro.
All right, bro. Take care, man. See you later. Bye.